Thanks for joining us on short notice. For approximately the last month, the city has added to its wastewater testing program an additional capacity. Not only have we been attempting to measure the levels of COVID-19 discharge in the wastewater and gauging how much virus is circulating in the community. Since mid-January, we've also been testing for the presence of variants of COVID-19, with all the increased attention and concern about the possibility of new variants emerging in this community that are more contagious. We've added that to the protocols, and we had a briefing yesterday where we confirmed what was true at the time, that we had not yet seen any indication in the wastewater of these variants. We've been signaling for weeks that we know that these variants are nearby and they were likely to get here soon. And in fact, last night when the results came in, there was an indication that we have detected mutations associated with the UK variant of COVID-19. We notified the Department of Health of that, and as members of the media here may have seen, the Department of Health has also put out just now a press release indicating what the steps they are now taking with as a result of this confirmed finding. So what's the significance of this? What does it mean for Burlingtonians? Again, this is something that we anticipated would happen, and now it has. It's a concern. It does indicate a new stage of the pandemic here in Vermont. We've joined 34 other states that have found this variant circulating within the state. By identifying the variant early, while there appears to be very low levels of the new variant circulating within Burlington, we have an opportunity together to heighten our community vigilance and slow the spread of this more contagious virus in the critical weeks ahead. We're in this critical period here where every week more and more of the highly vulnerable members of our community to this virus are getting vaccinated. These are key weeks here. By acting together, using the strategies that we have talked about so many times over the last year, we can slow the spread of this more contagious variant and keep the very positive trends of reduced virus levels under control and headed in the right direction. In some sense, it is more important than ever, given the heightened contagiousness of this variant, that we practice those good public health practices. I've asked Brian Lowe, who's our COVID-19 leader and chief innovation officer, and who was really one of the kind of architects of this wastewater program, to be here as well. But really, that's the news. I think we are here mostly to answer any questions that you might have about that, and we'll try to add what additional information we have.
Great. So for members of the media who are here, you can let me know that you have a question either by using the raise hand function in Zoom or by sending me an email, and I'll try to come up with some ordered queue based on those two systems. All right, and it looks like the first question is from Catherine at WCAX, and Catherine, you should be able to enable your microphone.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, hi, Catherine.
Hi, thanks so much for taking my question. I was just wondering if you were able to find out exactly which neighborhoods this was present in. I know it's in a very low level, so it might be difficult, but I mean, anything on that?
Go ahead, Brian.
We detected it in the city's main wastewater plant, which is a broad service area across the city. It includes the south end, the downtown, parts of the hill section, and the old north end. So a kind of wide catchment area, and we can't detect with any more specificity where within that watershed it is.
And is there any idea of the number of people that could potentially have this? I mean, is it in the 50 to 100 range, or is there any idea?
It's a great question, Catherine. And one of the challenges with the wastewater testing is that it's very hard to extrapolate from the readings to a specific case count. Really, what the wastewater is most helpful in showing is both that we have it, or likely we have this B117 variant, and it'll help us over time see the trend of how prevalent it is relative to the other kind of wild type coronavirus. right now, because we picked it up at basically close to our limit of detection, it appears to be a very limited number of people in the community that would have it.
Great, thank you.
Great. Next question is from Courtney at 7 Days. Courtney, you should be able to enable your microphone.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Courtney.
Thanks. I'm just curious, with this new variant, it's said to be more contagious. Is there anything different that Burlingtonians need to do to protect themselves more than before? The CDC, I think, recently has come out and said you should wear 2 masks. Just kind of thinking, how could people be more careful, or is it the same kind of guidance?
Great, Courtney. Yeah, basically the basic guidance for folks is to keep doing the practices that Vermonters have done very well over the last year. We have putting in for several weeks now been putting some extra emphasis on the quality of the masks or double masking, as the CDC came out with guidance on last night. It does seem that that's something we do encourage. And in fact, in our news conference yesterday, we have actually procured an additional 3,000 high quality masks for essential workers here in Burlington, people who are exposed. If you don't have a high quality mask and need one, and certainly if you're an essential worker, we are encouraging people to get in touch. That's probably the biggest area where there's some new guidance to offer. Really, there is a belief that the public health measures that have worked to keep the virus in check in the past are still operative now. People just need to be particularly vigilant and focused on carrying them out. You want to add anything to that, Brian?
I think that's right, Mary. I really think it's mask quality matters now, and making sure you have a good mask when you head outside, making sure that your parents, if they're in town, if your neighbors have access to a quality mask.
Great, thanks. And I do have another question, if that's okay. The states, both press releases from the city and the state kind of say that this won't be considered a definitive finding until more sequencing is done. And so can you speak to that a little bit of how long that will take? And I mean, it seems like we can accurately report that it's, I don't know, likely here. I'm wondering if you could couch that a little bit.
Why don't you take that one, Brian?
Sure. I hear kind of 2 questions in there. I want to try and answer them both. But please redirect me, Courtney, if I don't answer them clearly. On the first, the genomic sequencing that the state does, I believe, takes several days at least, and maybe a week or longer. VDH would be in a better position to give you an exact timeline on how long that takes. The other challenge is that they would have to look in this kind of broad catchment area at confirmed cases and then find the confirmed case or cases that are in fact that have these mutations. So it could be a while before they identify, both because of the process and then because of the number of cases that they have to check through. The other question, how likely is it that that this variant is here? The reason that we're reporting this news is that these 2 different mutations on 2 different proteins in the coronavirus, both of those mutations being present at the same time is highly indicative of the B117 variant.
Great, thank you.
Great. And it looks like that is all of the questions that we have for members of the media. Maybe any final takers, you can use the raise hand function. All right, it looks like we're all set.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for joining us. Brian, thank you for helping get this information out quickly. And I think we just to close again, this to Burlingtonians. Again, I really see this not as a cause for undue alarm, but as important information for you to have, and another just reminder, as we move through these critical months, February, March, into the spring, later in the spring, as we expect really the older populations to be fully vaccinated, that this is the presence, a very likely presence of the mutation is even more reason for us to follow the public health guidance, to follow the governor's orders, to be very careful, avoid gatherings with other households, to get tested if you think there's any reason you could have been exposed. We have outstanding testing resources here in the community right now. There's lots of opportunities to get tests if you need it. Use a high quality mask. Let's just stay strong, continue to hold together through these critical weeks. This is yet another reminder of the importance of doing that. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you soon.